Welcome back, Akira Bike Project fans. We left off the last video cutting up the frame and talking about why building a frame jig is going to be a good idea. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and build this recumbent motorcycle frame jig. For some quick context here, if you're new to this project, I am designing and building a fully functional recumbent rear engine motorcycle aesthetically inspired by Kaneda's ride in Akira, but with the functional aim of exploiting all the advantages the feet-forward platform has to offer. This is my prototype, and it is not weight or performance optimized yet, but it will progress in phases, with each phase adding new features, including more powerful motors, while undergoing thorough testing. And then everything I learned from these prototype phases will be integrated into a new production version design that I'll build and sell, laying the foundation of a thriving new market for the underappreciated and poorly exploited recumbent motorcycle. I'm in the middle of a significant frame modification, and since I plan on making more of these, I decided a good modular recumbent motorcycle frame jig was the way to go. This kind of frame jig will be easily adjustable for design changes and later phases of the prototype. It'll be upgradable to a rotisserie frame jig for final welding, and be the frame jig for my final production version as well. I had just recently built one of these certiflat laser-cut welding fixture tables and was quite impressed with it. I had also saved this enormous engine test stand from my Crazy Horse days, with the intention of someday using it for a frame jig platform. Given that, I decided getting two certiflat type welding fixture tables and welding them to the top of this engine test stand base would work pretty well for a modular recumbent motorcycle frame jig platform. Let's go ahead and get started. I cleared out the workspace for the frame jig and rolled in the engine test stand from the outside. Next, I worked on removing all of the accessories from the engine test stand, so I'd just be left with a flat top. This engine test stand was fabricated by guys that worked in the shop making pile drivers and other heavy equipment. So it's pretty heavy duty, and it's made from 2" by 2" square tubing, with 1/4 inch thick walls, and a pair of 1/4 inch panels across the top and the bottom. The main frame of the test stand is about 20 inches wide, 2 feet tall, and 8 feet long. All of these accessory mounts and panels are also made from 1/4 inch thick steel plate, so there's a bit of work involved in removing them without cutting into the frame of the test stand too much. I eventually got all the mounts removed, along with the transmission mount and assembly with some help. These bumper things on the end would prove to be quite the pain. Made of 6-inch diameter steel pipe, again with 1/4 inch thick wall, and a thick hard rubber coating that was glued and riveted to the pipe. I mostly had to pry the glued rubber off with a pry bar and claw hammer and rip through the riveting with the help of some carpet knife slices. The cutoff blade on the angle grinder doesn't help much here and just throws a massive cloud of burnt rubber into the air while getting all clogged up when trying to cut these thick rubber coatings. With the rubber removed, I could then remove the welds with an angle grinder. However, the pipe is welded on both the outside of the table and the inside is not really accessible with the angle grinder or my plasma cutter. The gap is just too narrow between the pipe and the table. I ended up having to first cut the pipe in half, so I could then cut close to the other weld from the inside of the pipe using the plasma cutter, which wouldn't fit inside until the pipe was cut in half. With that, I could finally reach the inside weld of the pipe and cut it off with the angle grinder, and then just pry the pipe off the rest of the way. The pipe on the other side got the same treatment and was removed, and then I proceeded to remove the thick paint from the frame with a flapper disc. With all the accessories removed and the paint removed from the top, it was ready to move on to the next step. I picked up about $1,200 worth of steel from the local steel supply place, and ordered 2 of these 2 foot by 4 foot certiflat weld tables. These weld tables come packed pretty well, assembled and fixed between two pairs of 2x4s. I put them up on a workbench and removed them from the packing. I propped the table up on a couple of 4x4s so I can easily access the top side of the upside down table. These tabletops are made from 3/16" flat plate that is laser cut with 5/8" holes on 2" grid spacing, with slots cut into the tabletop. The ribs are 2" by 3/16" laser cut also with slots so they can mesh together to form a grid that sits under the table, with tabs that protrude up into the slots that are cut into the tabletop. When the ribs are held tightly against the tabletop, any curvature in the tabletop is pulled flat from the rigidity of the vertical ribbing. The end result is a pretty flat tabletop. You should wipe down the tabletop underside and the ribs to ensure no debris, slag, or metal dust is blocking the ribs from sitting flush against the table. I clamp the ribs at their intersections tightly to the tabletop to help ensure everything is flat, using numerous pipe clamps from a local hardware store, starting at the center and moving outward. Large C-clamps help as well for clamping on the outside of the table. I checked the flatness of the ribs on the underside and it looks pretty good. I put the clamped tabletop onto the engine test stand frame just to see how it would fit, and it looks pretty good. So I went ahead and assembled the other 2" by 4" tabletop, clamped it, and brought it over to check it out. I was definitely liking the way this was looking, but in the process of doing this fit testing, I realized I couldn't access the underside of the table, with those red 1/4" flat plates welded into the engine test stand frame. After struggling with some issues with my plasma cutter, I got those panels cut out. These 1/4" panels, each about 18 by 40 inches, will make for some useful material later. I did some more grinding and sanding to clean the frame up, and grinded the inside of the new cuts I just made so that when I reach up into the underside of the table to bolt things, I'm not scratched or cut by the plasma cut edges and slag. I brought the two certiflat tabletops back out and set them up again. Now these tabletops are each quite flat, but there's nothing ensuring that the tabletops are flat with respect to one another. Here they are sitting on the 2x4s they were shipped with, which are sitting on the engine test stand frame. And this engine test stand frame has a pronounced sag in the middle, so welding these two tabletops to the frame isn't going to produce anything flat. Not only are they sagging in the middle, but the sagging is quite uneven from left to right. To tackle this problem, I used two 10-foot long 2" by 2" square tubes, 1/8" wall thickness, laid directly across both tables. I'll then clamp the tables to these bars, forcing the tables to line up with the bars straight across the entire 8-foot length of both tables. To clamp the tables to the bars, I have these 2" square D-bolts, which should be just wide enough to fit around the bars, and just narrow enough to fit inside the 5/8" holes in the tables. And they were just perfect. Adding more D-bolts, you can see the tables starting to line up quite nicely. I do need to take care to line them up side to side also. To line them up side to side, I used a straight edge and a rubber mallet to tap them into alignment. Checking both sides, I also used the rubber mallet to make sure the gap between the two tables was perfectly closed and the tables were straight with respect to each other. Giving the bolts their final tightening and tapping the sides some more brought the tables into final alignment with each other. Along most of the center where the two tables joined, I couldn't feel any difference in height dragging my fingernail along in either direction. In some spots I could catch it though. These were not more than 2 or 3 thousandths off, and I would just hit them with the flapper disc later. Overall, the alignment looks really good. Even the side-to-side alignment looks good. I triple-checked the alignment, filing off some small nubs left over from the laser cutting process to check the side-to-side alignment, and then tightened the other main center bar that connected the two tabletops. With the tabletop alignments all copacetic, I went ahead and added the rest of the D-bolts, and then tightened them down. With that, the table was looking pretty good, and I figured it was time to start welding the ribs to the tabletops. And that was when I noticed that my pipe clamp straps were actually blocking most of the tab and slot structures that I needed to weld. No problem though, I just replaced them with washers one at a time as I welded them along the way. And I started welding the table, using it as a good opportunity to practice my TIG welding skills. I started with the center of each table and then moved toward the center where the two tables met. After I welded the center of both tables, I worked my way down the outside of both tables, alternating which table I was working on, which side, and which end, with the current progress looking like this. The next step then is welding the tables to the red frame base. I tack welded the corners, but because of the sagging middle of the red base, the gap was too large to weld along the sides at the bottom of the upper table's ribs along the rest of the length. I was also concerned that by welding the bottom of the ribs horizontally to the red frame, the ribs would be pulled outward at the top and warp the tabletops too much. I decided to use welding coupons that would overlap the bottom of the ribs and the top of the red frame base and weld along the vertical sides of the coupons, thinking this would limit the warping applied to the tabletops. I cut my 2" by 4" welding coupons in half to make 2" by 2" squares. A problem though was that the tabletop's ribs were just slightly wider than the red frame's base. Using my pneumatic press, I gave each of the coupon squares a slight S-bend. The coupons fit and looked pretty good, so I went ahead and welded them all on. It's not unusual for the welds on these certiflat tabletops to stick up above the surface of the table, so I went ahead and hit each of the welds with a flapper disc to ensure that they're flat with the rest of the table. Checking each welded area afterwards with a precision ground parallel bar. The beams that were holding the tables flat to each other were actually blocking many of the tab and slot locations where the ribs tabs poke up into the table slots. So I went ahead and unclamped the beams, moved them to the outside edge over the areas I just hit with the flapper disc, and then clamped them back in place. Even though the table is now welded to the frame, I figured this wouldn't hurt, and it might help keep the tables aligned better. With the beams clamped, I went ahead and welded the rest of the tabs and slots. With that, the tabletop fabrication surface was pretty much done. I removed the clamps and beams, and wiped the table down. A fingernail test where the tables met was pretty good. It was perfectly smooth across about 80% of the width, with one spot about 2 or 3 thousandths off that I hit with the flapper disc. I pulled out the truth teller straight edge and checked it across the table and was surprised at how good it came out. Nowhere on the table had more than 3 thousandths gap under the straight edge in any position I could find. I don't have an 8-foot straight edge, but this table's flatness, from everything I can tell, came out better than my 2-foot by 3-foot table. And it will be more than sufficient for a motorcycle frame jig base. Well, that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed that process and are looking forward to seeing the frame jig completed. The next video is already done and will be available online in a few days. In that video, I'll be building the front and rear frame jig fixtures to mount the steering column and rear spindle to this frame jig table. Please subscribe and hit that notification icon to be alerted when that video comes out. If you like this video and this project, or are interested in seeing a fully functional motorcycle inspired by Kaneda's riding Akira on the market someday, or would like to be able to try or buy a recumbent motorcycle yourself or see the potential in the recumbent platform, Please subscribe and become a patron. Every little bit helps accelerate this project significantly. I'd like again to sincerely thank my patrons who are helping to make this project possible and bring these designs into reality. Thank you again, all of you. I really appreciate it. See you all again soon.